Welcome. Hello, winning family. To you who are here for the first time and to you who are returning, welcome to the Win Win Life. And I am Michelle L. Forbes, the Win Win Life talk show and podcast where we share your story, we share your life, we share your win. Today's show, we are wired to get a message of hope. Hope for wherever you are in your life, whatever situation that you are facing. So, buckle up, take a comfortable seat. Go ahead and on Facebook, if you're tuned in from there, hit the follow and the like button. And if you are tuning in with us from YouTube, please do go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. Today, we have with us a young woman who is from the island of my birth, Jamaica, and she has a compelling, a powerful story to share on a period of adversity that she would have walked through and to some extent still is walking through. But a message of hope is brewing, like the aroma of coffee that brews on the stove. A message of hope brews within the story of her life. So, without any further ado, I'm going to welcome to our studio Melissa Carter McLean. Welcome, Melissa. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Now, guys, if you would have been with us a few weeks back, you know that I'm working between two screens. So at times when you see I look here, it's because this screen is clearer for me to see. And then I look here because the camera is right here. Now, just a bit about Melissa before we dive into her story. Melissa Carter McLean is a 20 something, we won't allude to the exact number of years, young professional celebrating 2 years of marriage to her husband, Lesroy McLean, her best friend, and outside of God, her number one confidant. She committed her life to serving God wholeheartedly for the past 14 years and has not looked back since. As a member of the Williamsfield New Testament Church of God, she plays her role in serving him in humility and as appointed to whatever capacity entrusted to her. This last line I love, and I shared with you just before we have Melissa to begin sharing her story. Her life's mantra is I am a woman of God, chosen by God, to be used by God for His glory. She's head over heels in love with God and live it, and as a living testament has set herself to walk uprightly before Him. Please, if you are tuned in here today with us, welcome with me, Melissa Carter McLean. Melissa, it's a pleasure to have you. And
Thank you.
as you are here with us today, I would like for you to, the very first question, as I thought about sitting down and talking with you, as I would have heard, some amount of your story is, the very first question that came to me to ask is concerning what you would have been walking through with the adversity is sickness for the
Right.
past 5 years. What can you share in terms of how has this period of 5 years shaped you? How has it impacted you? What has it given to birth in your life, Melissa?
Okay. Well, thanks again for having me. So for the past 5 years, or maybe even more, but for the majority of it, or the high points of it, for the past 5 years, I've been walking through and struggling with endometriosis. A lot of you might be saying, endometrio, what? That was my first expression too when the doctors told me. I'm like, endo what?
Yes.
But that has been my struggle. So, how that has shaped me and what it has given birth to initially was a lot of questions, a lot of doubts and fears, anger, bitterness, because I wasn't understanding what was happening and why it was happening to me. So I struggled initially to grasp what was really happening, what was God trying to do. I didn't see this as God doing anything really. I was more angry at God as to why He was allowing this to happen to me. Because I figured, I mean, I'm young. My whole life is ahead of me. I'm just coming out of high school trying to find myself and find where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do in. So why this sickness that I wasn't understanding and the doctors were having a hard time to trying to figure out what it was. So initially, it gave birth to a lot of anger and bitterness. But then out of that came me drawing closer to God. I
Mm,
eventually saw this as God drawing me closer to Him,
mm,
trying to cement my relationship with Him.
come on.
Because each person has something different, a different story that draws them to God. So for me, it was the sickness that I couldn't understand. So
Wow.
eventually it drew me to Him because now I had to learn to depend on Him and trust Him to bring me out of this. Because the doctors wasn't giving me anything positive, anything solid that I could rely on or trust in to say, okay, the doctors have this together. No, they didn't. So it had to be God that had to bring me through, and it's still bringing me through. So
Yeah.
this was what drew me to God and cement my relationship with Him.
Wow. And would you say then that a solid faith and trust in God also came out of this journey that you have been on?
Yes, it did. Yes,
Wow.
solid faith indeed. Coming from a mustard seed faith, I'm still building on that faith
Yes.
because, like I said, everything is not completed yet. I'm still trying to see the bigger picture, still walking through this. But
Come
I'm
on.
trusting Him daily. I'm learning to trust Him. I'm
Yes.
learning to lean on Him, learning to have faith that He can and He will bring
Yes.
me through. So,
And
yes, it
folks,
has
what's the name
developed
of
faith.
this show? The name of this show is The Win-Win Life.
Win win.
That right there is a win.
Yes, so we're winning.
Yes, that at the initial stage she was angry. At one point, she said, as we were in the pre-show, that she became suicidal. It's like,
Right.
God, just take me now. Like, if you can share on that, what was your words to God?
Ah, I remember before I even got hospitalized at one point, the amount of pain that I was in, because I've suffered excruciating pain.
Oh,
Pain that I think I've taken every kind of pain medication that there is to be taken. I've been prescribed all kind of pills and all kind of stuff. I've taken them. Everything that I've heard of to take for pain management, I've done that.
mm,
And so at one point, I just wanted to die because I'm like, this is not changing. Nothing is stopping this level of pain that I'm going through.
mm-hmm,
And then in the hospital at one point, I'm like, God, any minute now, just take me. I just wanted to die because I'm not seeing a solution. I'm not seeing a way out. I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm doing all that I know to do, all that I've been taught to do. But
mm-hmm.
yet I'm in the same situation and nothing is changing. So I was like, God, yeah, this is it. Any day now, just let it be it. Just let it be this day. That I go to sleep and I just don't wake up. Those
Wow.
are my worst thing. God, just let it be this. Just let me die. Because I'm
Yes.
not seeing his purpose. I'm not seeing what he's trying to do in all of this. I wasn't seeing him really. I wasn't
Yes.
seeing him, so I just wanted to die.
Yes. as you were talking, one of the things that I saw was physically, as it pertains to the sickness, nothing was changing. But
Nothing.
you, Melissa, was changing. That you could say here today that a strong and a solid set position of faith and trust in God has been established, that it drew you closer and deeper established in God as a result of walking through this. And that is a win-win. That is a powerful thing that you can walk away, because not very many, hello people, not
Yeah.
very many people walk away from hardness. You hear what she said just now? Every painkiller that you could think of,
I've had them.
she has had them, and still the pain would not budge. And she went through, and still to a degree is going through. But here, look at the smile on Melissa's face. Like, going through pain, you don't look like you have been through anything. But God,
But God.
but God, and a shift in the mindset.
Yes.
Like, am I going to stay in this with thinking, okay, I want to die, or this is the worst thing, and why? There comes a point when, as you're going through, you have to decide, okay, maybe this thing didn't come to break me.
Right.
Maybe it came to make me.
To make me.
Yeah.
Yes. And a friend of mine actually said that to me at one point after I did one of the surgeries and came out. And looking at my scar, she said to me, Mel, whatever the enemy meant to destroy you is actually what is going to be used to build you. And I
Wow.
didn't see it at that point because I was even scared to look at myself, the amount of scars I have from the different cuts and all kind of stuff that they had to do to me. I
Mm,
was afraid to look at myself. And she was like, Mel, this was meant to break you, but it's going to build you. And
absolutely.
I'm seeing that now. Because now I can look at my scars and feel proud and rejoice that, hey, God
Mm,
has brought me out. So,
absolutely. Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful, man. Oh, wow. Wow. From what were some of the mental thoughts, apart from what you would have shared, like at the very beginning of going through this, like endometria, what was some of the thoughts that like hit you right away when the doctors start to declare to you? And I'd also like for you to share with the folks that they didn't know initially what it was. And it was from one thing to the next to the next. How did that impact you when they say, okay, it is this, and then no, it's not that, it is this, and then no, it's not that, it's this? How did that impact you? Like, what was going on inside, Melissa?
it was quite a mental strain, honestly. I've been through so many different emotions and having to go to the doctor time and time again, having to lie in a hospital bed, and each time they come, it's a different thing, and they're not sure, and you have to run this test and run that test. For a whole year, I was on asthma treatment because I
They
would
were,
have moments when I go.
they were treating you for
They were
asthma.
treating me for asthma because the condition went to my lungs. So I had difficulty breathing. I couldn't walk up a stairs without feeling like I'm gonna pass out. I would have what seemed like panic attacks where I'm struggling to breathe. And
Yes.
so I got the asthma pump. I was being nebulized. They did all of those things, thinking I had asthma. So for a whole year, it was asthma treatment. Then it
Wow.
got worse. So I was admitted. Then all kind of names of stuff, some I don't even remember now that they had diagnosed me with, until they said, okay, all your symptoms look like cancer. So I was eventually transferred to a cancer clinic all the way in Kingston, out of Parish, the other end of the island.
Oh,
So
okay.
they wanted to start treating me for cancer. At
Yes.
one point, one of the injections that I was on, after doing my research, I learned that it actually an injection that they use to treat cancer. So I was on cancer treatment.
My
So
God.
that's how bad it was. And it was just so frustrating and so confusing because they don't know. I don't know where I stand. I'm feeling like I just want to die because what is going to happen? No
Yes.
one knows. I don't know. So it was a lot of mental strain, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, and just not knowing. And just
Mm,
1 minute you feel like you're okay and you're getting better, and so you're in a good place, and then the next minute you're plunging to more depression because they're coming to tell you something else, and you have to do another test, spend a lot more money that you really don't have. So it was financially a strain.
Mm-hmm.
It took a strain on the finances, really. So it was really a lot, really a lot.
Wow. Wow.
So all kind of different thoughts, and I was really depressed at one point. Really, really depressed. You could actually look at me and see the depression. I was so drawn down that at one point, one of my friends would say, all I have was belly. Because the condition caused my belly to
Yes.
be so swollen in front of me. I
Yes.
looked like I was pregnant.
Yes. 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 That
I
much
looked
I
like
know
I was.
about that much I know about endometriosis. But as I'm listening to you and as I'm watching you share, Melissa, I am in awe because you continue to smile, you continue to laugh, and it's not only the smile and the laugh, but just this joy that is exuding out of you when you're talking about what you would have gone through, which is not a light thing at all. I
Not at all.
continue to just sit and just watch you in awe. Like, wow, wow. If you were to share with someone who either is going through or have a loved one who is going through, what would your words be to such a person?
Mm.
And it could be sickness, it could be they're going through one issue with their work, a hard time, it could be finances, it could be their education, whatever it is that they are going through. What would a word from Melissa be to them this afternoon?
My only word to them would be to just trust God. I've had to learn to trust God. Trust Him and hope in Him. Trust me. Because His timing is not our timing. And you would want Him to come no one fix the thing, no one you want it to end, no one stop, no. But everything is for His glory. You'll come out of your test with a testimony. Trust me, God is able to do it for you. Yes, it looks impossible. I thought nothing would change. I didn't think a day would come when I didn't have to take pain medication, when I wouldn't have to be taking 6 to 10 pills per day. To
Mhm.
sleep, I had to take a pill. As I wake up in the morning, I had to take a pill. I couldn't tell the last time I had to take a pill, to be honest. Look at me now. I can go days without taking any medication. God is able to do it. All we have to do is trust Him. All you have to do is trust Him. He
Stick a
can.
pin right there. Stick a pin
Yeah.
right there. To sleep,
To
you have to
sleep.
take a pill.
Yeah.
As soon
I
as you
remember
wake up,
one night.
you have to
Yes.
take a pill.
Had to take a pill. I couldn't function without medication.
Wow. Go
Up
ahead.
to
You remember
months
one night?
ago, I remember I had to take medication to function, going to work in the morning. I reach to work and feel like I want to sleep. The amount of pills I have to take to function because I'm in so much pain. And I go and I do my duties. No one knows what I'm going through.
Wow.
I show up and I do what I have to do on all these medications.
Wow. You were saying you remember one night.
Right. I remember one night I had to take up to about 6 pills, and you'd consider that to be an overdose because really at no given time you're supposed to take that much pills. But the pain was so much and the level of medication that I had, that's what I had to do in order to fall asleep because I need to sleep. So in order to sleep, I took two, nothing happened. Took another two within less than half an hour after that. I had to take more. And I just had to be stuffing myself with pills so that I could get some rest. Because it robs you of your rest. Because you can't sleep if you're in pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
Unable to walk, unable to sit up for too long. You don't know how to lie down. So I had to be functioning on pills.
So your word to anybody who is going through, any individual who's going through
Trust God.
whatever it is.
Whatever it is, just trust God. Just trust Him.
Wow. Wow. Trust him as you are going through.
Yes. Trust Him as you're going through. He'll give you the strength and the grace to go through it. Trust me. He will give you the strength and the grace to go through.
Hmm. What was your life like before this sickness started? And what was the changes that you saw coming into, like, you're moving from this normal life that you knew into something that is not usual. What is going on in my body? Into something where it just morphed into not something that anybody would like to experience in their lifetime now or ever. What was life like before, and how did you get to the point where I need to go to the doctor? I don't like what I feel. Something is going on in my body. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Ah, life before this major sickness was somewhat normal. I think just going about my daily business,
Hmm.
going to school. Really, I've always had painful cycles. When it comes to menstrual cycles, it's always been painful. But
Hmm.
growing up, you think this is normal, you think this is okay. So I
Yes.
managed the pain. I learned to go to school and do what I had to do. Some days I really couldn't go. Some days were really bad. I'd have like vomiting and diarrhea and stuff like that. But you think this is normal menstrual
Yes.
issues. So
Yes.
you don't take any thought to it and you just go about doing what you have to do. But coming out of high school now, venturing into the work world, think on my second job, I realized I started struggling to breathe. My breathing became a challenge. I was going on fine, managing my pain. Pain was bad, but not always bad. So I'm good. I'm managing. I'm coping. I'm going on.
So
But
that
then
was
when I
the challenge in breathing was the first abnormal
the abnormality,
symptom.
yes,
Oh.
challenging breathing. And then I realized now that I started losing weight, but then I
Hmm.
started gaining a stomach, a very huge stomach. But then my rest of body, I'm getting slim. I have no appetite. I can't eat. I don't feel for anything to eat. I just want to drink. Till at one point I thought maybe I'm drinking too much water because I'm
Mm.
always thirsty. I just always want to drink. And then my belly is getting big. My body is slimming down and I'm struggling to breathe.
Hmm.
So I realized that no, something is really off here. So I really need to go do the necessary checks. But then you do the checks and the doctors are not sure. And so they say, oh, you have asthma because the breathing and the wheezing. And so they're saying, okay, you have asthma. Treating me for asthma, still nothing is changing. I'm getting slimmer. My belly is
Hmm.
really big. I'm
Hmm.
in so much more pain now outside of the menstrual cycle. I start having daily pains. So every day now it's painful.
So
My belly hurts.
this would be the second
Right.
symptom that is abnormal.
Abnormal.
Okay, the
Yeah. I
breathing
start
challenge
having
and then daily pains.
daily pain.
Mm.
Yes. Painful to sit down for too long. Painful to walk. I'm struggling now to walk because pain is extending to my legs and to my
Wow.
feet. So I'm struggling now to walk and I'm struggling to breathe. So
And
those are abnormal stuff.
Melissa, about how old were you at this time?
At this time, I may be around 1920. Yeah, because I'm fresh out of high school and just starting to work and trying to
Yes.
find myself.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, around 20 thereabouts.
I understand why you made the statement earlier that it was frustrating for you when
Yeah,
you started, because I'm young and I have my whole life ahead of me. And
well,
we know with youth you expect health and
yeah,
strength, man. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I've just finished studying a phlebotomy. I'm now a certified phlebotomist. I need to go find a job where I can do what I like. I like helping sick people. I want to be out there,
Yes.
drawing blood and doing the blood test and all of these stuff. Because I
Yes.
did the course. I graduated. I'm supposed to
Yes.
be venturing out now into work. But
Yes.
here comes sickness.
Wow.
I couldn't work. I got a job at a doctor's office, working good, and then I just stopped functioning. I couldn't function anymore. So I
At a
couldn't keep a job.
doctor's office.
Yes.
That's
I
interesting.
was working as a receptionist at a doctor's office, and they're the one who realized that something was really wrong. And then after doing the test there, they were the one that said, "Oh, it looks like asthma." And so I was transferred to the medical clinic at the hospital, and they too said it was asthma. So I was on nebulizers, I was on the pumps, but it
Wow.
wasn't asthma.
What role did your family play in all of this, Melissa? Like, as they're seeing you progress from one stage to the next, this symptom, then that symptom, then another symptom. What was the experience like for them, as based on what you can see and what they would have related with you?
It was a lot of worry from my mother's standpoint because it was just me and mom living together. My
Yeah.
dad would visit. My mom is a Christian, my dad is not. Now
Yes.
here is where another challenge comes in. My
Yes.
mom is a Christian, but she worries a lot. She don't handle situations well.
Mm.
So she wasn't coping very well with it. A lot of worry on her part. But then my
Yes.
dad now who is unsaved,
Yes.
you would people would tell him stuff. And now all sorts of questions start to come into play now. Different family
Mhm.
members have different stuff to say. As
Mhm.
they're saying, you're a brilliant child, you're just coming out of school, you just graduated from doing a phlebotomy course, you've
Mhm.
just started working, things should be looking up, but then you're taking a downward spiral. So you start hearing all kind of stuff.
Yes.
Something is wrong, something is not so normal. So they would
Yeah.
tell my dad, oh, you need to go look. You need to bring her clothes, go to some herbalist and
Yeah.
do this and do that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
all sort of stuff going on and different persons saying different things. Some persons believe in God, some wanting you to go seek help elsewhere.
Hmm. Now,
So
for
there was
those who are tuned in and who will listen after, if you're not sure exactly what Melissa talking about, we're talking about Obia.
yes,
Yes.
Obia.
So on one
Yes.
end, she was being encouraged to or her dad was being encouraged to take her to an Obia man
Yes.
or an
That's
Obia woman because things not right. She's a young girl.
yeah, this is not right.
She graduated with her
Yes.
certification.
I'm
It's a good
supposed to be
life.
doing something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Continue, Melissa. Yeah.
Yes,
How did that
there
play
was.
out?
Mhm. So, I mean, it was rough. My mother had to be trying not to give in to what they were saying. It was quite a struggle in the household between my mom and my dad. My
Yes,
mom is saying, no, we can't do this because we're believing God.
yes.
And then at one point, my mom was even ready to plan my funeral, picking out what color casket I was to be buried in because it got that bad. They thought I was going to die. Even the doctors thought I was going to die. To this
Wow.
day, I have a doctor that calls me dead and awake every time he sees me. That's what he says.
He
So,
calls you
hi,
what?
dead and awake. Dead and awake. So
Wow.
he thought I was going to die. They didn't expect me to come out of the situation as to how bad it was. Yep. My lungs had collapsed and they had to resuscitate me. When they went at one point to draw the fluid from my lungs, at the first time I was admitted to the hospital, my lungs collapsed. So they thought that was it. So each time he sees me to this day, it's dead and awake. Because they didn't expect me to come out. They didn't expect me to survive it.
Yes, yes, yes. For you who are listening today, when we started, we say that this show is a one of hope that will bring hope, that is delivering hope to you today. Did you hear the nickname the doctor gave Melissa? Dead and
And
wake.
awake.
Just in case you said it too fast. Dead and
Yes, dead
wake.
and awake.
Which means she was dead and then she wake back up
Yes,
again.
just wake up
And
back.
so whenever he sees her, he's seeing a walking miracle.
Right.
That she really should not be with us today, but she's here. She was dead and now she's awake. And whatever situation you are going through, we are telling you today, we are speaking wake up resurrection to
In
that
the name of
dead-like
Jesus.
situation
Yes.
that's been taking place, that is taking place, to come to life now,
Now, in the name of Jesus.
encouraging you that it is possible. Melissa said the word she would give to you is trust God.
Trust God.
Trust God, trust God, trust God. And she shared, she was open, she was honest. That when it first started, she was frustrated, she was angry, she felt like dying. She's like, God, any minute now, you can take me.
Yes.
Here, it that grew into a solid relationship with God. Here, that grew into a firmness in her faith and trust in God. So, to you today, we say to you, hope again, trust God, and hope again.
Yes.
One word that my mom used to tell me, Melissa, is Michelle, once there is life, there is hope. You're
There
still
is hope. Yes.
breathing breath, you're alive.
Your
Once there
life.
is life, there is hope. Melissa, as we bring the close wind down, the show to a winding down, I'd like for you to share, just give one message that you would like to share with the folks who are tuned in today.
Ah,
If there's anything else, go ahead.
yeah. First of all, If there's a lady watching, or will be watching later, or a mother who has a daughter who is watching, if your child or if you having painful menstrual cycles, do not take it lightly. Do not think it is normal. It's not normal.
Mhm.
Go and do the necessary checks. Go and get the ultrasound done. Go and do the scans, whatever needs to be done, but go see your gynecologist. It is not normal. For years, I thought it was normal. I was going about my life for years thinking it was normal until I found out I had stage 4 endometriosis. That's the worst stage. Stage 4 endometriosis. Excruciating pains till the condition moved to my lungs. I've had surgery on both lungs. Both my lungs collapsed, one after the other. In total, I've done 3 major surgeries. So do not take it lightly. Do not think it's normal. Go and do your checks. And in the midst of all that, pray and trust God. I've had to do a lot of praying, a lot of fasting. I've tried to be consistent with my lifestyle changes. Trust me, it's not easy to change your diet and to exercise. I'm still working on it. But do what you have to do because you have to take care of this vessel that God has given you. His Holy Spirit lives here. So you have to take care of it. So do what you have to do. Get your checks done. Pray, fast, trust God. Have to do what we have to do.
Wonderful. I have a pop question for you, Melissa. If you were to write a book on your life story, what would the name of that book be? You didn't know I was
Wow.
going to ask you that question, guys. What would the name of that be?
Oh, I think it would be Yet Still I Rise. There's
Ah,
a song that has that title, and I love that song. And I
yeah.
think I would entitle my book that name, Yet Still I Rise. Because trust me, I've risen out of a lot of stuff. This is just a part of it. Sickness is just a part of it. Because before sickness, there were other stuff. During sickness, there were other stuff. But I've risen and I'm still rising. So Yet Still I Rise.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, can we say then that we are to expect that book at some point in the future, whether it be near or a little far away?
Let's see. Yes, I think so. I think my story needs to be told, the full
Absolutely.
of it, and it's
Yeah.
still unfolding. So yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderfully. Thank you guys for tuning in today. It's a pleasure having Melissa with us today on the Win Win Live Talk Show and Podcast. Right here, where we share your story, we share your life, we share your win. And we thank Melissa for joining us today as she shared her story and her honesty and openness and transparency. I really absolutely do appreciate. As we are about to bring the show to a close, I want to remind you that you are a winner. A winner is who you are, and winning is what you do. Why? Because it's in your DNA. So, with that said, we want to say to you, have a rest of the Sunday afternoon.